Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make these gorgeous Rivoli pendants using the brand new discduo beads from Potomac Beads. So here is what they look like. They're called discduos, and turning this around, they are 6mm beads, and there are 50 in a tube. So what do they look like? Well, they look like a disc. But when you turn them to the side, you can see that they have two holes there. And I've just found that these are so awesome to work with. There's so many new possibilities with these beads, and I love this shape. It's a very nice shape to work with. And I found that they worked perfectly for Rivolis, for making the back of a Rivoli. So here is my pendant. It is so gorgeous, and looking at the back, you could see how I used it to hold my Rivoli in place. I really love these beads. They're so awesome. Here is another one I did. This one I did in the bronze disc duo, but this one I did in the black disc duo. So that's what the back looks like. Okay. This one here I did the bronze disc duo. Very gorgeous. Here's what the back looks like. Okay. Now, you can only get these disc duos at Potomac Beads because they are the ones that are making, they're the company that is making these disc duo beads. Now, if you don't have a 14mm Rivoli on hand, you can also get Rivolis from them too, and they have their own Rivolis called PC Rivolis, and they have some gorgeous colors in these Rivolis. They have the Magic Wine, Magic Blue, they have Magic Orchid, they also have a Slipperit, and there are several more colors. Those are the colors that I just really love. And they're cheap. They're actually cheaper than the Swarovski Rivolis. So I will leave down there in the description bar a link for the disc duos and a link for the Rivolis, so you guys can get you some to make these gorgeous pendants. Here is the list of materials you will need to make a pendant. You will need 3.5 feet of either 6-pound or 8-pound fireline. I'm using 8-pound, but you can use whatever you want. And again, it's 3.5 feet. You will also need a size 10 beading needle, one 14mm Rivoli, 8 disc duo beads from Potomac Beads, 4 6mm fire polished beads, 10 4mm beads, and they can either be fire polished Czech beads or they can be bicones. This one here I'm using bicones. These two I did Czech fire polished beads. You will also need 11 seed beads and superduos. You'll need a total of 60, but you're going to need 2 colors. So I have 28 gold here, and I have 32 turquoise. Now the color that I have more of is the color that I'm using around the Rivolis, on the top around the Rivolis, and also I'm using that color on the very edges. So the one that I have more of, that's the placement that you can see here of where I did. This one here, I had the 32 gold in this one, so I did the gold around the top, and I did the gold here around the edges. The one I'm making in the video, I have more turquoise, so I'm going to have my turquoise here around the Rivoli, bezeling the top of the Rivoli. You're also going to need a bail. And these bails here I got from Walmart, and they're actually amazing quality, and I think there's like 10 in a pack for like $2. It was a great deal, and I need to buy more of them because it was a multiple pack of them, and they were like 3 different ones in there, and there was only 2 of these in there, and I used both of them, so I need to buy some more of those. But yeah, that was a great deal. They're from Walmart. And if you don't have bails, you can also use a jump ring. This here is a gold jump ring, or you can do a split ring, whatever you want to do for your bail. So again, this is the list of materials, and remember, I always leave the list down there in the description bar, and also I'll leave the links to where you can buy the disc duos and the Rivolis. So check down there in the description bar so you can see everything you will need. I went ahead and I threaded my needle, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up 4 of these disc duos first. So I'm going to pick up a disc duo, a seed bead, a disc duo, seed bead, disc duo, seed bead, a disc duo, and a seed bead. Just like this, okay? In this order. Now I'm going to slide all of these down. And what I want to do is I want to leave a tail that's about 6-7 inches long, because I like to go back and reinforce. So about here, okay? So I'm just going to tie a surgeon's knot over and under like that. And before I pull it tight, I'm just going to measure it one time, make sure it's there, and it's a little short, so I'm just going to loosen it up and pull this thread here to get it closer to the length that I need. Okay, and that's fine there. Okay, so now I went over and under one time. So right here is where my knot is going to be. So I'm going to go over and under a second time, and this will complete my surgeon's knot. And pull that down. Make sure it's tight. This is what we should have. Now I like to do 2 surgeon's knots just to be safe. And I wasn't paying attention there if I just did the over and under once, so I'll just do it again. Okay. Pull that very tight. Now that's fine, that's good to go. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna pull that needle into the knot, I mean, into the hole, because I did that before and it kind of made an issue where I couldn't go back and reinforce it. So I'm gonna leave that knot there, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm gonna pass through the hole, but I'm not going to pull it hard enough where the knot goes in there, because then later on I can't pass back through that hole and I go to reinforce this thread here. So I just went through there, and now I'm coming out this hole. Now what I'm going to do is take the same needle and pass through this hole. I'm stepping up. Okay, so now I have what looks like this. So now I have to keep this little tail out of my way, and I'm going to pick up some more beads. I'm going to pick up a superduo, a disc duo, a superduo, and then, I'm not thinking. After I pick this up, I have to pass through the next disc duo right there. Okay, pull that tight. Tension is going to be very important in this pendant. Okay. So now you can see we have this. So I'm constantly going to be turning this around in my hand. So I'm going to hold it like this, and I'm going to pick up a super duo, a disc duo, and a super duo. So exiting out here, I'm going to go through this hole. Pull that through, and sometimes you'll have an issue like that where you have to straighten the beads out and pull it tight. Okay? Again, make sure it's very tight during this area here. After exiting this bead, I'm going to do the same thing. Another super duo, a disc, and a super duo. So after I come out of here, I'm going to go through the next one. Pull it through. And we should have what looks like this. Again, make sure it's very tight. And it looks exactly like this, and you don't have any superduos flipping into the center, because if you do, then you're going to have loose areas. So make sure that all your superduos are pointing out. Now I'm going to pick up my last 3 beads. A super duo, the disc duo, and a super duo. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go through my first super duo. You can see my thread there, or not super duo, my disc duo. You can see my thread hanging out from earlier on the side, and I'm also going to pass through this super duo. So I'm going to go through 2 beads. I'm going to hold this in place with my fingers and pull this through, straighten this out here, pull everything tight, and this is what we should have. So I want to make sure that this stays tight, okay, and then I'm going to hold it between my fingers here. I'm going to take my needle I'm exiting out of that hole, so now I'm going to pass through this hole, the opposite hole in the same superduo. Okay, pull that through, make sure it is tight. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with this color here, and I'm going to use all of it up. So exiting out this bead, I'm going to pick up one gold superduo, because as you can see, all that's going to fit here is one, and I'm going to pass through this superduo. Okay, so through there. Now I'm going to pick up 3 gold superduos. This color is called Aztec gold. I love it. It's gorgeous. I have 3, and I'm going to pass through this disc duo. Okay, just like that. I'm turning this. I have to hold it like this now. I'm going to pick up 3 more superduos, and I'm going to pass through this one. Turning it again. I'm going to pick up 1 superduo, and I'm going to pass through this one. Pulling it tight, turning it again. I'm exiting out of here, and I have to pick up 3 superduos, and then I'm going to pass through disc duo, pulling it through, turning it. Now I'm going to pick up 3 more superduos, and I'm going to pass through this one here. And now looking at it, you can see that we're about halfway through. I'm going to pick up 1 superduo, and I'm going to pass through this superduo, getting this thread here out of my way. So looking back at what we did, you could see that I have 1 superduo between the 2 turquoise superduos, and then between the superduos and the disc duos, I'm picking up 3 superduos. So right now, where I'm at, I have to pick up 3 superduos. 1, 2, 3. Exiting out of that superduo, I have to pass through this disc duo. Straighten this out, pull it tight. You can see how it's kind of wavy. That's kind of normal. We'll straighten that out when we finish this row. So exiting out of here, I'm going to pick up 3 more. I'm going to pass through this superduo. Straighten all these out, make sure they are laying correctly. Then I'm going to pick up 1 superduo and pass through this one here, filling in this spot. Turning it again, I'm going to pick up 3 superduos and go through this disc duo. Pulling this through, straighten these little guys out, pull it tight. Now I'm going to pick up my last 3, and I'm going to pass through, let's see here, this is my tail, so this is the bottom. I'm going to take my needle, and I'm going to pass through this turquoise superduo and through the gold, but I'm going to have to bend it like this. Oops, it just came out. Okay, so I'm passing through this turquoise and through this 1 gold disc duo. Pulling my tail through, straighten these out, and pulling my thread tight. Okay, so now this is what you should have. Okay, so the next thing I would do would be to add our bezel on the top here for our Rivoli to sit in. But before we do that, I like to stop right here at this point with my working tail. I'm exiting out of that gold bead, so I'm just going to take this needle and put it off to the side. What I like to do is I like to go to my tail, this short little tail I have over here, and put a needle on it. And you can either take the needle off of that one, or if you have an extra needle laying around, you can just go ahead and put it onto this short little tail. And this is the tail that I had you know, at the beginning that I left hanging on. I didn't cut it off. And what I like to do is I like to go back right now and tie the knots and then cut this tail off, because once I put the Rivoli in this and I keep going with the rest of the pendant, it's really hard to go back and tie your tail back into your work. So I like to stop at this point right here, because it just seems to be the perfect spot to stop and do this. So right now, with my short little tail, I'm exiting here, and you can see there's a knot there. So I'm just gonna get away from that knot, and I'm gonna go through this seed bead and through the round duo. So I'm just gonna gently wiggle through here. Okay. Now I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to pass under here, and I'm going to tie a knot, half-hitch knot. I'm making a loop and I'm going through it twice, and I'm bringing this knot down, pulling it tight, passing through this seed bead here and through the next disc duo, just like that, pulling it through. I'm going to tie another knot. Okay, so going through here, this loop twice. Gently pull it down, and then pass it through this seed bead, and then through the disc duo. Okay, just like this. Now you could try to go through here and through the next disc duo, but it might not let us because that's where we first start. I'm going to try to see if I can do it. Okay, I can't do it. It's letting me go through. Okay, so I just went through there. Now if you couldn't pass through there, if that knot went into this hole, what you would do, you would just be exiting out of here. You would go back through this same disc duo on the top hole. So since I was able to pass through, I'm going to step up here and go through the top hole of the same bead. So just like this. Okay, so what I'm doing is just reinforcing this. Okay, so I have to be careful that I do not catch my working tail, my long tail over there, because that would be a huge problem. Okay, I'm exiting out right here, and I don't think I'm going to tie a knot here, just because I got that thread there at the disc duo. So I'm just going to pass through here, and I'll tie a knot right here. So I'm going to go under here, make a loop, and go through this loop twice. Okay, and pull this down. Now I'm going to pass through this disc duo, just like this. And what I would do is tie another knot right here. So basically what you're doing is you're trying to have more passes going just through this ring here and this next second row of thread. And what you're just trying to do is reinforce this and make this stronger so your thread doesn't break. So keep going tying knots, and I would probably tie another knot here, pass through here, tie another knot here. So just keep on going and try to use up most of your thread, and once you can get as far as you can go and you can't really pass through anymore because your thread's too short, you go ahead and trim your thread. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to finish tying knots, and when I get done I'll show you what to do next. We'll be going back to this long working thread over here. Okay, so I finished tying my knots with my short little tail, and I trimmed it off, and now I'm back here where I was at earlier with my long tail, and what I have to do is make my bezel. So studying this here, what I have, if you look back at these superduos that are side by side and they just have one superduo between them, you're going to want to stand those superduos up just like this. And what they're going to do is they're going to be like our prongs for our Rivoli to sit inside here. Now you might also notice that this piece here is not completely flat. Right here where these disc duos are laying, it's kind of like cupped up. It's kind of like rounded. So you want to make sure that the part that's cupped up and rounded is what your Rivoli is going to be sitting in. So right now I have these standing up, and what I need to do is I need to reposition myself. So right now I'm exiting out of this gold superduo down here at the bottom, but I need to come exit out at the top. So I'm going to pass through the same superduo but through the top hole, just like this. So pull all of this through, and that's what you should have. Okay, now I'm going to pull this tight. Okay, and now I'm going to pick up the beads for our bezel. So I'm going to pick up, pull these in, I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead, 1 superduo, 3 seed beads, 1 superduo, and 1 seed bead. Just like that. Exiting out of this one, I'm going to go through my next prong, which is right over here. So from this corner to this corner, it's like a little square. Okay, so I'm pulling all of this through, and now I have to turn this. You can't really pull it tight because it's going to loosen up, and it will do it until we get all the way back over to the beginning where we started. So exiting out of here, I'm going to pick up the same beads. A seed bead, a superduo, 3 seed beads, a superduo, and a seed bead. So just like that, pick that up. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go all the way over here to my next superduo prong. Okay, pull that through, turn this around. Now I'm going to pick up a seed bead, a superduo, 3 seed beads, a superduo, and a seed bead. Just like that, in this order. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go through my next one. Pull this through and turn it again. Okay, so now I have one more wall to add. Exiting out of here, I have to pick up a seed bead, superduo, seed beads, 3 seed beads, just like this, a superduo, and a seed bead. Just like that. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go back through where I started. Now, I'm going to go through this gold prong, the first one that I started at, the superduo, but I'm also going to go through the first seed bead next to it, and I'm going to pass out through this turquoise superduo. So through this gold superduo, through this seed bead, and through this next superduo right here. Okay, pull this all through. I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to tighten it up, pull it tight. I need to make sure that all of the superduos I just added are flipping outward. They don't need to be in the inside, they need to be in the outside, because my Rivoli has to rest in here and they're in the way. Okay, so pull that tight again. Get this little guy back out. Okay, now I'm going to pick up my Rivoli, and if you want, so there's no fingerprints on it, I just took a little, you know, like eyeglass cleaning cloth, cleaned off the fingerprints because it's so sparkly, and drop that little guy in there, and he fits perfectly in there. It's perfect size. Okay, so exiting out of this superduo, I have to close this in on the top of the Rivoli so it doesn't fall out. So I'm going to take the needle and I'm going to pass back through this same superduo right here, but I'm going to go through the top hole. So I'm exiting out the bottom hole and I'm passing through the top hole. So I'm going to pull this through, and before I pull all the way through, I'm going to grab this superduo and I'm going to pull this thread really tight, and then I'm gently passing the rest of my tail through. Okay, and I'm going to pull my tail tight. Tightness is very important. Okay, so now it's good enough. So I'm going to get one of my pendants I already did. I'll get this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some seed beads here in on the top. So right here where I have the gold superduos here in a corner, here's a gold one, there's a gold one, there's a gold one, there's a gold one, I'm going to put 1 seed bead in that gap. Okay, and then right where we have our discduo beads right here, and I have 3 seed beads, I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads like that. And doing this makes it have this square shape. Okay? So out of here, out of this super duo, I have this gold one here on the side, right here in the middle. I'm going to pick up one seed bead, and then I'm going to pass through this super duo. Gently pull it through. Now I'm going to pick up two seed beads. So right here I have 3. On top of that, I'm going to stack 2 seed beads. Now I'm going to pass through this one. Pull that through, turn the pendant. I'm back over here at my corner where I have this gold one. Let's do this gap down here. That means I have to pick up one seed bead. So I have to pass through this super duo. Okay, so passing through there, putting that into place. Now I'm back over here where I have these 3 seed beads and I have the disc duo. That means I need to pick up 2 seed beads, okay? So now I must pass through my next super duo. Pull this through, and this is what we have. I'm back over at a corner where my gold super duo is at. That means I need 1 seed bead. So I'm going to pass through this one here and pull this through. And so far this is what we have. I'm back here at the disc duo. Up here I have my 3 seed beads. That means I have to pick up 2 seed beads. I'm going to pass through my next super duo. Okay. I'm back here at the corner where I have that gold super duo and I have my big gap here. So I'm picking up 1 seed bead for the corner and I'm passing through this super duo. Okay. Now I'm right here at the last gap and I have to pick up 2 seed beads. This is where I have my 3 seed beads here at my disc duo. Okay, now I'm going to pass through this super duo, the seed bead, and through the super duo, just like that. Pull this through and pull it tight. Okay, now I'm going to show you a close-up to make sure that this is what yours should look like. So right here you could see I have these corners. This super duo, this one, and this one. Those are my corners. And in those corners I have, looking up at the top where I just added the seed beads, I have 1 seed bead. 1, 1, 1, 1 in each corner. And then straight up from my disc duo I have 3 seed beads, then I have my 2. Over here, disc duo, 3 seed beads, 2, 3 seed beads, 2, 3 seed beads, 2. So it's correct all the way around. Now what I need to do is reinforce this and make this tight up here. So I'm going to go all the way back around. So here you could see my thread where it started. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through as many beads as I can. So I went through those 2, a super duo, seed bead, super duo, pulling it through. I'm going to pass through all of these. Try to do as many as I can at one time. And did I skip one? It looks like I did. Yeah, I accidentally skipped one. See the thread sticking out there? So I'm just going to go back and fix that. Okay, here I am. I'm going to go back, make sure I go through that CB, don't want to skip one. Okay. Pull it through. I'm over here. Let's see, over there's where I started. Okay, so I gotta keep going. So I got to pass through all of these little guys. Right there's my thread at my beginning. So I need to go down at a corner to get back to the edge. So I'm going to pass through all of these beads here, through these 2 C beads, through where I started. See the loop of thread there? That's where I started at. Here's my corner. I'm going to go through this 1 C bead in between these 2. I'm here at this super duo, so I'm going to pass out through here. Okay. I'm going to sit this down and I'm going to grab this little superduo right here and I'm going to pull this thread very tight and tighten up my bezel. Okay, as tight as you could pull it. Okay, now my bezel is tight and I'm ready to drop back down. So I need to get back down to this corner, and it's a little tricky to do. I'm over here. I'm going to pass through this superduo, this seed bead, and through my gold superduo in my corner. So pulling this through. Before I pull all the way through, it could loosen up in my bezel, so I'm one last time pulling that thread in my bezel to make sure it's tight. It's tight, and now I'm pulling the rest of my thread through. So right here I am at the corner. So now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through this same superduo but through the bottom hole. So I'm going through this gold bead, and what I need to do is come out this turquoise superduo. So you might have to bend some beads and wiggle your way through. Okay, and there I am. I'm coming out the back. So Xing out of the top hole, going through the bottom hole, then I'm passing through the superduo right beside it. Okay, so wiggling out through there, pull that through. Now I'm right here, and what I need to do is step up again. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through this one gold superduo, just the one, just like this. Pull my needle through. It got stuck there. Okay, fix that. And then I'm gonna Xing out here. I'm gonna go through this superduo right here. Same superduo, the hole right beside it though. Okay. So now this is what we have. We have completely bezeled our Rivoli, and we are ready to add the rest of our beads. Okay, so now I'm going to fill in some more areas, and right here at the corners again of my Rivoli, I will be putting one seed bead. But at this gap right here at my disc duos, I will be putting 2 seed beads, and in between all the super duos I will be putting a super duo. So here's the corner. I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead and I'm going to pass my needle through here. So Xing out of that super duo, going through the next one, just like that. Now I'm here at the super duo, so I have to pick up a super duo in my second color, and I'm putting it here. I'm picking up another duo, putting it here. I am at my disc duo, and that means I have to pick up 2 seed beads, and I have to put them right here. So exiting out of there, I have to go through this super duo. I'm picking up a new super duo, and I'm putting it right here, pulling this tight. Picking up another super duo, I'm going to put it right here. Okay, now I'm back at the corner right here where I was earlier when I started. So I have to put 1 seed bead here. So pick up just 1 and pass through. Oops, did I lose it? There it is. Pick up 1 and pass through this super duo. Okay, just like that. Now I'm here again at the super duo, so that means I have to pick up 1 super duo. Back over here, I have to pick up another one. Put that on. Here I am now back at the disc duo, so this means I have to pick up 2 seed beads, and I have to pass through the next super duo. Picking up a new one, a new super duo, I have to go through this gold one here. Make sure that you're pulling this tight as you go, because this will not loosen up. If you leave this loose over here and you're pulling it tight this way, this will still be loose over here because of how many beads you're going through. So right now I'm over here and I have to pick up another super duo. I'm going to pass through this one, and then I have to pick up 1 seed bead. I'm at this corner. So I'm going to go through here, pull the needle through. Now I'm exiting out right here. So I'm going to pick up another superduo, pass through this one, make sure you pull it tight, and this is what it should look like. Okay, so right now we're halfway around. So exiting out this one, I'm just going to pick up another one, put that in there. Right now I'm at the disc duo, so that means I need to pick up 2 seed beads because my gap is wider at the disc duos than it is at the corners. So picking up the 2 seed beads, passing through here, pulling that tight. Now I'm going to pick up a new superduo. I have to pick up another one now and pass through here. So now I'm back at my corner right here. So that means I have to pick up 1 seed bead. And then I have to pass through this superduo, this gold one. Okay, pulling this through. I'm going to pick up another superduo, go through this gold one, pull this through, pick up another superduo, and go through this one. Now I'm here at the disc duo, so that means I have to pick up 2 seed beads and pass through the gold superduo. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to pick up another superduo, go through this one, pick up my last one, and I'm going to put it right here. So I'm at the beginning where I started, so I have to go through this superduo and through this seed bead, just like that, going through both of them at the same time. Pull it tight. Now I'm going to turn it this way so I can pass my needle through this gold superduo and through the turquoise one, and you might have to wiggle your beads to get it go through. You might be able to go through one at a time or both. Okay, and I actually got both. Okay, so passing through both of these just like that. Make sure you pull this tight, and now I have to get in, reposition myself so I can add the 4mm and the 6mm beads on the very last row. So I'm going to pass my needle through this superduo, and now we are ready to add the rest of our beads, and this is what it looks like. So I got all my other beads ready here, and looking at where I'm at right now, I'm at the corner again. So here's my corner, I have my 1 seed bead, I have to put 1 seed bead here. So I'm picking up 1 seed bead and I'm putting it right here in this corner. Okay, so all the corners going just like this have 1 seed bead. So now I'm over here and I have to put a seed bead, a 4mm bead, and a seed bead. And I'm going to pass through this superduo. Okay, pull that tight. Now I'm over here and I have a large gap here. Here's 2 seed beads, and in front of that I have my disc duo. So in this large gap, that means I have to put my 6mm bead. So I'm going to pick up 11 seed bead, my 6mm bead, and a seed bead. And I'm going to pass through that superduo. Okay, so again, I'm over here and I have to pick up 11 seed bead, a 4mm bead, and a seed bead, and I'm going to pass through this superduo. Now I'm over here at my next corner, so I have to pick up 1 seed bead and pass through this superduo. Okay, over here I'm going to pick up a seed bead, a 4mm, and a seed bead, and through here. Oops. Okay, pull that tight, and this is what we have. Over here I have the large gap again, so I have to pick up a seed bead, a 6mm bead, and a seed bead, and then I'm going to pass through this superduo. Okay, over here I'm going to pick up a seed bead, a 4mm bead, and a seed bead, and go through this superduo right here. Pull that through. I'm now at a corner again, right here. So I have to pick up 1 seed bead and pass through this superduo. Now I'm going to pick up a seed bead, a 4mm, and a seed bead and go through this one. And if you look, we're going to have two 4mm beads in between our 6mm. So over here, I'm at this large gap again, and that means I need my 6mm bead. So I'm picking up a seed bead, a 6mm bead, and a seed bead, and I'm going through this superduo. Pulling it tight. I'm over here, I need a seed bead, a 4mm bead, and a seed bead. And now I'm going to pass through this superduo. I'm here at the corner, as you can see, and I need one seed bead. Picking up one, passing through this superduo. Now I have to pick up a seed bead, a 4mm bead, and a seed bead, and I'm going to pass through here. I'm over here now, and you can see that I have a large gap, and I have already added two 4mm beads, so this means I need my last 6mm bead. So I have to pick up a seed bead, 6mm, and a seed bead, and I'm going to pass through this superduo here and pull this out all the way. Okay, so now I'm over here, and I have to pick up one seed bead, one 4mm, one seed bead, and I'm going to pass through this superduo. And right now I'm adding my last one right here in this gap. This is the last gap I have to fill. So I have to pass through this superduo and through this seed bead at this corner here. So passing through there, pulling all this through, I'm going to turn it this way, and then I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through this superduo and this seed bead. And what I'm doing is I'm working my way towards this 6mm bead because I have to add my bail there. So I'm just sewing through all of these beads, and I'm trying to make it out my 6mm bead. Okay? And here I am. I made it all the way around, and now I'm ready to add my bail. Now to add the bail, right now I'm exiting out of the 6mm bead, what I'm going to do is pick up a seed bead, a 4mm bead, 3 seed beads, and my bail. Now I know this jump ring is huge, but when I added my regular bail, I had to remember to pick up my bail right before I picked up my 4mm bead, because the hole in my bail is really small and it does not fit over these 4mm beads. So you have to pay attention to that. Okay, so after I pick up my bail, I pick up my 4mm bead and my last seed bead, and I slide all of this down. Now I'm exiting out this side, so I'm going to go through this side, and I'm going to also go through this 11 seed bead here. This is going to help attach our bail to our pendant better, and also it makes it so this isn't so floppy. So exiting out of this seed bead, I'm going to pass through this seed bead, through the 4mm bead, and through the seed bead. Okay, just like that, and you want to pull it tight. Now I'm going to skip this middle seed bead right there. I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to go through the 4mm. Well, I'm going to skip the center seed bead. I'm going to go through the seed bead on the side, then through the 4mm and through that seed bead. So just like that. Hope you can see that. Okay, I'm just skipping that one in the middle, and I'm going to show you why. I'm skipping it, and I'm pushing it up like this, and then I'm pulling this tight. And what it's doing is it's making our bail look fancy. See how it's pointed there? Okay, so now exiting out of this seed bead, I'm going to pass through this seed bead, through the 6mm bead, and out this seed bead over here. Okay, and I'm going to pull this tight. So now we are ready to tie our knot. So here is our gorgeous pendant. Okay, so tying the knots is so easy to do. I show this at the end of all of my videos, just in case if you're a beginner and you might not know how to do this, so I always like to show how to do this. So I'm just going to pass through this first superduo. I'm not going to tie a knot there. Okay, Now I'm right here, exiting out of the seed bead, and what I'm going to do is tie a knot in front of the 4mm bead. So I made a loop, and I'm passing through the loop twice. Slowly bring it down. I'm going to pass through the 4mm bead and through the seed bead. I'm going to try to keep my knots in front of either a superduo or in front of the 4mm or 6mm beads. So right here I am. I'm going to pass my needle through here, make a loop, and go through it twice. Okay, bring this knot down and pull it tight. Now I'm going to sew through this superduo and through the seed bead. Pull it through. I'm going to sew through this superduo and the seed bead, and I'll tie another half hitch knot here. So keep going, and what I like to do is I like to go all the way around and reinforce this thing and make it really durable, because I want this to last a lifetime. So I just go all the way around tying knots, and then I'll pass through this bead here and I'll trim my thread. So keep going, tying your half hitch knots, and you're done. This is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry we've made from my videos on my Facebook page. And also, you guys can now follow me on Pinterest. I will leave a link down there in the description bar so you guys can go check that out so you won't miss anything that I'm doing. So, thanks for watching.